Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the Anything Goes podcast. I'm your host, Calamity. We talk about anything we want here. Mainly sports and entertainment, some video game stuff every now and then, which I don't think we have any stuff to talk about today for video game stuff. We do have a lot of entertainment, a lot of playoff hockey, playoff basketball, and a couple of issues that I kind of want to dive into. We'll get into that a little bit later. We're going to talk about a little bit with tennis, a little bit of soccer, which the tennis doesn't really, it has to do with tennis, but not really. There's something larger to it, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about it. And then there's a big issue with, I don't want to say the NBA, but there's a lot of stuff that actually, you know what? I won't even say anything about it. I'll just talk about it when I get there. So we'll start with NFL like we usually do. And then we'll go from there to something else that I want to talk about. And then we'll go into soccer since that's going to be pretty quick. And then from there, we'll do NHL, MLB, NBA, then tennis, and then we'll finish off with entertainment like we usually do. All right, so that sounds good. All right, so we're going to start off with the NFL, which we only got like 3 things of news there. We have Julio Jones. He still wants out. He confirmed it to Shannon Sharpe on his podcast, I believe. Pretty much confirmed it to him, saying, no, I definitely am gone. Like, they're not a winning team. I don't want to be here. Kind of that stuff. So far, the only 3 teams that I've heard of right now, like still, like they were from day one to now, are the Patriots, Ravens, and Seahawks are the 3 teams that I've heard him kind of thinking about, or they were thinking about trading for him. It's been a lot with the Seahawks and Ravens. Not so much with the Patriots, but they have been there a little bit. I hope the Patriots do get him. Obviously, it depends on the cost. It is Julio Jones. I know he's getting older and didn't really have a great year last year, but it's a different circumstance in New England or Baltimore or Seattle. So we'll see what happens. They thought something was going to happen 2 days ago on the 1st because something with the Falcons, if they trade him, they save money in the cap. I don't really know how that works. Or maybe it's just after June 1st. So that's kind of all there is to that. Adam Vinatieri announced he is retiring from the NFL after 24 seasons. He is the all-time point leader in the NFL. Obviously, a great career. Played for the Patriots for a long time and then went to Indianapolis, where he played out the rest of his career, I think. I don't think he went anywhere else other than that. End of a long career for him. Very successful career. He's won multiple Super Bowls on his leg, literally. And then we have the last news we have for... It's really not NFL. It's college football, but I put it under NFL. The 2022 College Football Hall of Fame ballot consists of Marshawn Lynch, Reggie Bush, Andrew Luck, and Champ Bailey. All 4, I believe, should get in. They all had very successful college careers. Champ Bailey and Marshawn Lynch both had, I would say, successful careers. Reggie Bush, not so much. Andrew Luck had a very good career until he retired way too soon. But I understand why he retired. I think he would have gone on to do great things, especially for the Colts. So it's unfortunate that he retired, but he had a hell of a college career. So all 4 of them had great college career, though. I will say that. So that's NFL. Now, the other thing I want to get into was it's golf related. I don't want to say it's strictly golf, but so what was it, last year that we had the match with Mickelson and Brady and Woods and was it Woods and Manning? This time they're going to do another one of those. This time it's going to be Mickelson and Brady again. But they will be facing off against Aaron Rodgers and Bryson DeChambeau. So that'll be interesting. I believe it's for July 6th, if I'm not mistaken. And then soccer, we have, I'm going to butcher this guy's last name. He's an American player. He's the first American to play in the men's Champions League final. And I don't know why I didn't add to this, but I'm pretty sure he won the Champions League final. He's the first American to do so. But Christian, is it Pulisic? I feel like it's Pulisic, but it's Polisic. So it looks like Pulisic, but I think it's Pulisic. I think it's how you say it. Anyway, so good for him. First American to do that. That is pretty... that guy's nasty too, I'm not going to lie. I don't watch much soccer, but I have seen him play, and he's nasty. So good for him. A lot of good for American soccer players, honestly, because we're not really... I don't want to say we're not known for our soccer, but there's plenty of other countries out there that are a lot better at soccer than we are. But this kind of shows that we can kind of compete a little bit. That's kind of my takeaway from that. And then so now we'll do NHL, I guess. Now I think that's what I said. Actually, we'll just do MLB because it's really only one thing for MLB. So really, I just have the power rankings. I mean, there really hasn't been any big storylines, in my opinion, coming out of MLB. So I really just have the power rankings and talk about where I think they should be, if they're in the right place, things like that. So right off the bat, Padres number 1. I'd agree with that. They're playing crazy. They have to figure out what's going on with Fernando Tatis Jr. I have him in fantasy baseball, which is the only reason why I really know what's going on with him. He had COVID for a little while, so he was on the IL, and then he came back, started to go on a tear, and then he left, I think, last night's game or 2 nights ago, for an undisclosed reason. I don't know. I mean, we don't need to know. Whatever, as long as the Padres know, and kind of go off of that. But either way, they've been playing great. They're number 1. The Rays have been right behind them. The Rays are number 2. They're currently leading the AL East right now, and they've been on quite the tear, winning a lot of games in a row. Then we have the Dodgers at number 3, which I think that's about right for how all these teams have played. The Dodgers are only going to get better, too, because they just got Bellinger back earlier this week, I believe. 4th is the White Sox, which I don't really see them at 4, and maybe that's just me being biased. And I don't see the Giants, who are right after them, at 5. I don't see the Giants being right there either. Yeah, I don't really see them there either. The way I see it is, I think it should be the Padres, the Rays, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, the Astros, and then maybe the Giants, and then the White Sox, and then you have the rest of the teams in this order are the Cubs, the Athletics, and the Mets. So I think the Cubs, Athletics, and Mets are good to go. The Padres, Rays, and Dodgers are good to go. It's literally from 4 to 7, I think, should be different. I think the Red Sox and Astros should take over where the White Sox and Giants are, and I think the Giants should flip with the White Sox and be ahead of them. But that's me. I'm not an expert. Don't, hold me to that or whatever. So that's really all I had with MLB. There really hasn't been a whole lot of storylines. I mean, no crazy rivalry games or anything. At least that I've seen. I mean, we had the Dodgers and Padres earlier on this month, I think. Maybe last month. Which was good. I mean, it was a good series. But other than that, I mean, there really hasn't been. I mean, a couple of people have taken fastballs to the face, which we went over that in the previous ones. So yeah, there really hasn't been much to talk about really other than just how teams have been playing. NHL. So I'm just going to go over. So first of all, the Buffalo Sabres won the first pick in the draft, which takes place in July, I believe. I think it's the second time they've gotten it in the last 3 years. I think they last got it in 2018. So it kind of makes you wonder, though. I mean, if you had, it kind of reminds me of, not really. I was gonna say it reminds me of the Cavaliers back when they made their draft picks and they were like first every year. But it makes you wonder, like, if you just had the pick a couple years ago, why are you getting it again? I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't really follow hockey that much. I follow the Bruins. That's pretty much the extent of my hockey watching. But I mean, I do see stuff every now and then. I watch SportsCenter. I do all that stuff. But just kind of interesting. So round one of the playoffs, I believe last time we talked about the playoffs for NHL, we were midway through the first round, I believe. So I'm just going to read off what happened in the first round and where we are at right now in the second round. So first round, the Canadiens, so this one's kind of a big storyline. The Canadiens come back from 3-1 down to win 4-3 over the Maple Leafs, which is pretty crazy. I mean, you're down 3-1. Maple Leafs only need one more game, and Canadiens go on to win 3 games in a row, which is insane. And I feel like this happens a lot to Toronto. I kind of feel bad for their fans. I don't really know what it is with Toronto and not being able to close out series, but they're 2 stars. Matthews. Oh my God, I'm blanking on the other guy's name. But their duo just did not show up for this series at all. Maybe like one game they played well, and that was probably one of the 3 games that they won. But something happened where they're showing too much, or they're just not. I mean, they're probably up 3-1, so they think, hey, we can get away with a game or 2, so let's just keep playing how we've been playing. Meanwhile, Canadians are switching it up, which is kind of screwing up the Maple Leafs plan, but then they don't adapt. A series is literally about adapting to how your opponents are playing, in my opinion. And because it's kind of like, well, I don't want to equate it to Call of Duty or anything because it's really, I mean, it's similar, but it's not. But if you think of like, I was thinking of like a search and destroy match where like the pro teams, they have, it's first to 6. You kind of have to, if something's not working, you have to adapt and change it up and do something different. It's the same. It's kind of the same logic in terms of a professional sports like series. Because Call of Duty plays multiple different game modes. I mean, obviously, that's a video game. This is like, I don't want to say real sports, but it's something where you play the same game multiple games. I don't know. I know what I'm trying to say. It's coming out weird, but I think you guys probably get the point. So there's that. And I feel like the Maple Leafs don't change anything. I feel like they're like, oh, it's working, and then they give up 2 games, and they're like, oh, now we need to like try or change it up or do something, but then they still lose. So I don't know. Something about them, they just can't close out series. I don't know why. Moving on, we got the Jets. They sweep the Oilers 4-0. The Islanders beat the Penguins 4-2 in a 4-1 matchup, which is pretty intriguing. But I'm kind of glad it happened because the Bruins are playing the Islanders right now. I mean, it is a good series. We'll get into that. And the next matchup actually right now is the Bruins. They beat the Capitals 4-1, which was a 3-2 matchup, which is still impressive. It's not as impressive as 4-1. And then we have the Hurricanes beat the Predators 4-2. Lightning beat the Panthers 4-2. Avalanche sweep the Blues 4-0. Golden Knights beat the Wild 4-3. Round 2, the Canadiens are up 1-0 on the Jets. I feel like the Canadiens will probably win that series. Bruins and Islanders are tied at 1-1 after an overtime game last over the weekend. I'll just say that because I don't remember. I think it was Saturday, I want to say, but I could be wrong. They actually play tonight, which I will be watching and hoping that the Bruins win. I think they will. I also think the Bruins will probably win that series. Oh my God, excuse me. Woo! Shake that off. I think the Bruins will end up winning. Now, I could probably see it going. I'll have it go 6 games. I think the Bruins will win in 6. Again, the only team I keep up with is the Bruins, so I could be way off base here. But Bruins in 6 is my prediction. Lightning are up 2-0 on the Hurricanes. I do think the Lightning win that. Probably 5 games. And the Avalanche are up 2-0 on the Golden Knights. I think the Avalanche will also win 4-1. Did I say the Canadiens? I think the Canadiens will win their series against the Jets. I'm going to say... I'll say 4-1 as well. So 3 4-1s and a 4-2 is my predictions. So now should we go to NBA or should we go to the tennis that I want to talk about? Let's go with tennis. I'm gonna go with tennis. All right. So Naomi Osaka, I believe is how you say her name. I've heard people say it. And I don't know why I can't think of it. So she originally said she won't be doing any press conferences or anything at Roland Garros. And she wants any of the fines she pays to go to a mental health charity. She came out and said something. She was talking about her mental health and how that she didn't like talking to media about. I didn't read the exact quote, but it was something about talking to the media she didn't like. It wasn't good for her mental health. She then actually withdrew from that tournament, and a lot of people have come out in support of her. I mean, I have dealt with mental health. I have anxiety, as some of you might know. I don't know if I've mentioned that on stream before. It was pretty bad, and it didn't really relate to anything necessarily. But it does suck, and I can understand an athlete having a problem with talking to the media. And it's nothing against the media, really. I mean, it's just... She's also really young, too, so, I mean, it messes with your head. I mean, a lot of people have come out in support of her. I think, actually, let me pull up the tweet real quick. There was a tweet about the app Calm, which is like a... I always took it as like a meditation app, which I think technically it is, but it's really like a mental health app as well. Coming out and supporting her or paying for her fines or something. Hold on, let me get the tweet up real quick. So yeah, it's right here. It says the Calm app has announced it will pay the fine for players opting out of Grand Slam media appearances for mental health reasons. It also matched Naomi Osaka's fine and will match any future fines with $15,000 donations to Laura Sport, a global sporting movement celebrating the world's greatest athletes, uniting them to celebrate sport and its ability to change lives through sport for good. So yeah, they picked up the tab on her fines. They will do so for any other athletes that come out and say that they are not going to attend any of the press conferences or anything because of mental health reasons. And I know the Calm app, I think, is endorsed by LeBron James, so it'll be interesting to see what he has to say about it. I don't think he said anything about it yet, but I know Serena Williams said something in support of her. I would like to see? I would like to see Kevin Love come out and say something about it, because he has come out and said he has anxiety, and for him to come out in support of her, maybe he has. I don't think I recall seeing anything about him saying anything about it, but I could be wrong. But to see other athletes come out and say something, and who haven't really come out and said anything before about mental health. I don't think Serena Williams has said anything about mental health. I could be wrong as well. I don't really follow her. Yeah, I haven't seen anything. Oh no, yeah, he did. He said he retweeted her original post saying stuff about her mental health, and he said love, respect, and positive energy your way, which is cool. Again, I mean, this is the quote from Naomi Osaka. She says, "Hope you're all doing well. I'm writing this to say I'm not going to do any press during Roland Garros. I've often felt that people have no regard for athletes' mental health, and this rings very true whenever I see a press conference or partake in one. We're often sat there and asked questions that we've been asked multiple times before, or asked questions that bring doubt into our minds, and I'm just not going to subject myself to people that doubt me. I've watched many clips of athletes breaking down after a loss in the press room, and I know you have as well. I believe that whole situation is kicking a person while they're down, and I don't understand the reasoning behind it. Me not doing press is nothing personal to the tournament, and a couple of journalists have interviewed me since I was young, so I have a friendly relationship with most of them. However, if the organizations think that they can just keep saying do press and you're going to be fined, and continue to ignore the mental health of the athletes that are the centerpiece of the cooperation, then I just gotta laugh. Anyways, I hope the considerable amount that I get fined for this will go towards a mental health charity." I mean, I agree with her. I mean, I've definitely seen people kind of get kicked while they're down after a loss, and people just say, "Hey, it's your responsibility to do it," and unfortunately, they do it. I mean, how people have handled themselves in those press conferences probably not the best, but you can't really blame them. I mean, I know I can think of one off the top of my head, and that's Cam Newton after he lost the Super Bowl. Granted, he didn't act the best, but then again, if you have anxiety or coming off a loss like that, you're probably not going to act your best. And I've definitely seen that, and I can understand that, and I don't think it should be a requirement to honestly talk to the press. I don't know why it is. I mean, we had this whole thing with Marshawn Lynch as well. He did not want to speak with the media. We remember him going out there, "I'm just here so I won't get fined," that whole thing. So the whole thing is very interesting, and I can definitely see her point where you start to, if you get these questions from the media about you or about just about you, I mean, you start to, like she said, lose confidence in yourself, and all of it stems from the media. So if you're going to, how about this? If you are required to do press conferences, how about you get the questions ahead of time and then you can approve the questions? I wouldn't see anything wrong with that. Because then if you know the question's coming and you've approved the question, then you have really no one to blame but yourself. If you think about it, at least for the confidence issue, you can prevent that if you can approve the questions or get the questions ahead of time. Now, if it's anything else, I know I had a big problem public speaking, which technically I think I still do. I'm able to do this because this, I know it's live, but it's not like you're not here in front of me. It's different. It's a little, and this stuff, I think I know what I'm talking about. So it's a little different for me, but I definitely did not like doing presentations in school. I always got super anxious during that. But so if it's something like that, that's a whole different story. That's just not. Maybe they could do something like this instead of doing a press conference. I can't really think of a solution for that other than just doing something like this. But even then, I would have felt more confident had I known like what was going to be thrown at me for questions or anything like. So I don't know. I think that maybe that might be a solution for them to look into, but I don't think that people should be required. And if you're going to require people to do that, at least have them get the questions ahead of time from the journalists or let them approve the questions. That's just kind of a thought on my end. Now, maybe I'm way off base. But either way, though, good for her for admitting, it's a mental health problem, and good for her for standing up for it, because she's literally not playing in a tournament now because of it. Which sucks for her, I'm sure, because she probably just wants to play tennis, and she's not because of the press conference requirements. Which, again, sucks. So now we'll get into the NBA, where we will talk about something that I really want to talk about, but I'll leave that for the very end. So we had Jordan Clarkson wins Sixth Man of the Year. Julius Randle wins Most Improved Player. Whew. And this one, we have Mike Krzyzewski, something, Coach K from Duke. I'm not even going to try and say his last name. I've heard people say it before, and I can't pronounce it. So, Coach K from Duke, he has decided to retire after this coming season. Long-time coach for Duke, amazing coach. Probably, if not the best coach, second best coach in college basketball ever. I think I saw he won 5 national championships. He went to a shit ton of Final Fours. Went to even more tournaments. His resume literally speaks for itself. I think he has the most first-round picks in the NBA ever. He's just seems like an amazing coach. Got the best out of all the people that went through Duke, even one and dones. So it's sad to see him go, and it's weird to think about. I've literally watched him at Duke. Well, I'm not going to say since I was born, because I didn't watch college basketball then. But since I've watched college basketball, he's been the coach of Duke. And I'm pretty sure since I've been born, he was the coach of Duke. I don't remember the year he started at Duke, but I'm pretty sure it might have been before I was born. Actually, didn't it say 24 seasons? So, no, it wasn't before I was born. If 24 seasons is correct, then he was there when I was 4. I think that's right. Something like that. But either way, I didn't start watching probably till middle school. Probably. It's probably when I started watching college basketball. Anyway. So we have round 1 of the playoffs. We have the 76ers beat the Wizards 4-1. The Hawks beat the Knicks 4-1. The Nets beat the Celtics 4-1, unfortunately. But kind of knew that was going to happen. The Bucks sweep the Heat 4-0. Kind of a surprise. The Jazz beat the Grizzlies 4-1. Then we have 3 West series that aren't done yet. We have the Dallas Mavericks are up 3-2 on the Clippers after Luka Doncic's 42-point game last night. He went off, and they're 1 win away from winning that series. The Nuggets are up 3-2 over the Trailblazers, which I believe the Nuggets play tonight. And then the Suns are up 3-2 on the Lakers, which is, I don't want to say it's a surprise because the Suns have the 1 seed, right? Oh, man. I'm pretty sure they have the 1 seed. It's not really a surprise, but then again, you think of a LeBron James team, you don't think of first-round exit. And they are on the verge. I believe they also play tonight. I think they're the late game tonight. Now, I don't think the Lakers will lose this series, but it ain't looking good. Anytime you have LeBron, you can't really rule him out. However, if they are having a hard time with the Suns, it's probably only going to get worse in the next series unless somehow you match up very well, which I don't know who they would play. Maybe they would play... Oh, no, the Suns don't have the 1 seed. Sorry. I believe they have the 2 seed. Yes, I think that's right. Because the Jazz beat the Grizzlies, and the Jazz were the number 1 seed. Then the Suns, yeah, that's right. So, yeah, the Suns were the 2 seed. So, it's still not a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise that they're up. But it is kind of because you have LeBron on the other team, and he doesn't go out in the first round. Which, again, it's not over yet, but it ain't looking good. So, yeah, I'm going to say Lakers win in 7. I'm going to say Nuggets finish off the Trailblazers in I'm going to say the Nuggets finish off the Trailblazers tonight. I think that happens. And then we have Dallas up 3-2 on the Clippers. I'm going to say... Oh, man, that one's tough. It's hard to go against the Clippers just because of their team as a whole. I feel like is better. But Doncic is ridiculous. I'm going to say Dallas in 7. Oh, I'm probably going to regret that. Dallas in 7. I'm just going to stick with it and call it good there. And then, so yeah, the thing I really wanted to get into was, it has to do with the Celtics. And so I'm just going to say the news of the Celtics first that I want to do. So Danny Ainge retired. Wow, my voice just cracked really bad right there. Danny Ainge retires. He was the president of basketball operations. Brad Stevens will take his place, and they are now looking for a new head coach. There's been a couple names that have popped up. I don't know if any of those are true or if they're even considering them or whatever. So there's that. That was a piece of news. But as most of you, or as some of you probably follow me on Twitter, probably know that yesterday I was watching First Take as this news broke. Oh, damn. That was my ring on my table. And I was listening to Stephen A. Smith. I was listening to Max Kellerman talk about this. And so Stephen A. brought up the fact that if Brad Stevens was African American, he probably would be fired instead of been brought up to be the president of basketball operations. Just because Brad Stevens was having a tough year. Supposedly Stevens was worn down by coaching during the bubble last year. And supposedly Brad Stevens was on the hot seat. Now, if that's true or not, I don't know. I would think it's not true, just because I know Brad Stevens has been here for a while, but he went to 3 straight conference finals. Yes, he didn't have the greatest year this year, and they lost last year in the finals, or Eastern Conference Finals, but I still think that's better than most coaches out there, so I don't know why he would be on the hot seat. But whether or not that's true, I don't know. Stephen A. Smith said that he was close to being fired, and now he's president of basketball operations for the Celtics. And he complained that there wasn't enough African Americans in the front offices of NBA teams, franchises. He has a point. I'm not disagreeing with it. But I just don't know why this gets brought up now. Like, Stephen A. Smith, he usually is the one that stands up for that stuff. I get that. And that's perfectly fine. But before this all happens, you had Kyrie Irving talk about returning to the TD Garden for Game 3 against the Celtics. And he said, hopefully we can just keep it strictly basketball. There's not... I think that's a misquote. Oh, no, never mind. Sorry, there's not belligerence or racism going on. Subtle racism. I'm not the only one who can attest to this. The whole world knows. First of all, I believe I tweeted this too. I'm not quite sure. Like, maybe not word for word, but is there racism in Boston? Yes, probably. I know I'm a white male. I can't attest. Like, I can't say no. I've never heard anything. Like, I usually go, I've gone to the Garden. I've gone to Fenway Park. I was raised just outside of Boston. I've never heard it there from fans or anyone. Now, how do I want to word this? What he's saying isn't untrue, because there's been multiple athletes that have said stuff has happened there. Which, I believe them, it's probably happened. People are still assholes in this world. It's going to happen. It's not right. I don't condone it. But I don't even know why Kyrie Irving brought that up. He literally, even everyone in the organization was like, I don't know what he's talking about. He never complained about that when he was here. He never brought it up, never spoke anything about it. So why he's bringing it up now, I don't know. And then, of course, at the end of Game 3, he goes over and stomps on the logo, which was not cool. And a fan threw a water bottle at him. And that fan is now, I don't know if he's already been charged or what, but I'm pretty sure he's in jail. He was a 21-year-old kid. Obviously did something really stupid and threw the water bottle. I don't condone that either. One of the players should have done something when he stomped on the logo. That's a whole different story. That's probably the most disrespectful thing you can do in basketball. And no one did anything on the Celtics. They just kind of let him do it and whatever. I can understand in that moment letting him do it, like whatever. He's going to do it. I don't even know why he's doing that, because the Celtics fans and coaches and front office people, I thought, treated him great. It wasn't until he started acting all fucking crazy and saying all this weird shit and like the earth is flat and all this other stuff, and that people kind of were like, all right, this guy's a little different, which is fine. Whatever. He's an amazing basketball player. But then he comes out and says, you know, I'd love to stay here if you guys will have me. And everyone gets all excited, like, woo, Kyrie. And then he just bails. And then goes to the Nets. And joins Kevin Durant. And then they get James Harden. That's why fans don't like you. It has nothing to do. Like, he thinks that the Celtics fans don't like him because he's African American. Not true at all. We don't like him because he's kind of an asshole and makes up these. I don't want to say makes him up, because he's not making up the racism thing at TD Garden. I'm sure he's not. Again, I've never heard anything said there, but I've also not stood close enough or sat close enough to the players to hear any really. Obviously, people up top aren't going to be shouting shit at Kyrie Irving down at the bench if they're way at the top. And that's usually where I sit, because I'm not rich. I can't sit down courtside. So, again, I'm sure he's not wrong. But I will say 99% of the fans that don't like him just because we don't like him. It's like shit like this. He's just, I don't know. He's just a different breed of I don't even know what to say. I really don't. But that just kind of threw me through left field. Or I don't even know. I can't even talk right now. That's how weird. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, so for Stephen A. Smith to bring that up after these comments, it just feels like people think that Boston is a racist city, I guess, or have a racist fan base, which I don't think is really true in terms of the whole, like, the city or the fans as a whole. I'm just confused as to why it gets brought up all the time with just the Boston sports teams. Really doesn't get brought up with the Patriots, though, or the Bruins. Seems like it's the Celtics and Red Sox, which is weird to me. I don't know. I mean, I get all their points. They're perfectly logical points. I'm just confused as to why Stephen A. brought that up the whole time on First Take. Now, I'm sure if he could somehow talk to me and say something, I'm sure he'll throw some knowledge at me that I won't be able to answer to. Just because he is a much, much, much smarter person than I am. But I'm just confused as to why it got brought up. That's all. I mean, maybe if this happened for another team, he would have brought it up anyways, which is fine. So it's not just, I don't know. I'm a fan of the Celtics, so when I wanted them to talk about Brad Stevens moving up to president of basketball operations and what coach they're going to look for, or how Brad Stevens is going to do, or how great Danny Ainge was, or anything like that. And they didn't even talk about that. They just talked about the race issue in NBA. Which, yes, there's an issue. I'm just confused as to why bring it up now. Like, it was just, I don't know. It was just weird timing, I guess, for me. That's all I'm really trying to say. Again, Stephen A. Smith does have a good point. There isn't I think he mentioned 2 front office people in the NBA that are African American. So yes, it is a problem. Even for head coaches, I would say it's a problem. At least I know in the NFL it's a problem. They probably have about 2 or 3 head coaches in the NFL that are African American too. So I think that's a bigger problem in the NFL. But again, I was just weird. It was just weird timing for me. Is all it was. And I really wanted to hear their opinions on Brad Stevens being the president of basketball operations, what coaches they're going to look out for, and that kind of stuff. And I didn't hear it at all. And that's one of the reasons why I don't really like watching First Take, because they kind of get off of the original topic. So, I mean, it is what it is. So now, those are things I want to talk about like a lot. Kind of get my viewpoint out there. Not that my opinion really matters to a lot of people, but it's just what I think. Anyway, we go into entertainment now, where we have a lot of news. So we have, first things first, we have the Eternals full trailer came out. And it looks really good. They mentioned Steve Rogers. I think there was a mention of Tony Stark. I could be wrong. I watched it a few times. And they did have a few Captain America shields in it. And then it was later revealed that Thena, I think it is, who is Angelina Jolie's character, she is the first cousin of Thanos, which I found interesting. But it looks really good. I'm really excited for it. We saw Kit Harington at the end of it, or towards the end of it, as Black Knight. So that'll be cool. I think he's going to be probably introduced in this, and then probably have his own thing or get integrated into something else. And it looks like the Eternals have been around for a very, 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 very long time, and that they said that they didn't intervene until now. So it kind of makes you wonder what's going on now. Is it because of Thanos that they're interfering now? Or at least now that Thanos has done something, they feel like they need to intervene a little bit. So I guess we'll find that out, and we'll also see them, I think, go through time. So that'll be kind of cool. And then we have Timothy Chalamet, I think is how you say his name. He will play Willy Wonka in Warner Brothers' upcoming origin film for Willy Wonka. So that sounds interesting. The series premiere of What If will be on Peggy Carter. She will take the super soldier serum and become Captain Britain, I believe. So that's kind of cool. Game of Thrones spinoff 10,000 Ships is officially in development with writer Amanda Segel. Why do I have that? Amanda Segel. For some reason it says cross swords after that with nothing else after. So I don't know what that means. The prequel series follows Princess Nymeria and her armies who traveled from Essos to Dorne following their defeat by the Valyrian Freehold. Alright. Amazon has purchased MGM Studios for $8.45 billion. MGM is currently, they own the James Bond franchise, so Amazon will take that over, it looks like. Then we have the Tomorrow War trailer. That one features Chris Pratt. And it looks like people from the future come and draft people from now to fight in a war 30 years in the future. That's what it looks like. Is what I got from it. Looks pretty interesting. Interesting story to it. I'll probably watch it. I believe it comes out on Amazon Prime. I could be wrong. Thinking off the top of my head. But I'm pretty sure it's Amazon Prime. So if you don't have that, get that and watch it. I forget when the release date was, too, by the way. Sorry. Then we have WandaVision creator Jack Schaefer has signed a 3-year overall deal to develop TV projects for Marvel Studios and 20th Television. Christopher McDonald joins Marvel's Secret Invasion in a secret role that could cross over into films and shows. Christopher McDonald, you might know him from Happy Gilmore as Shooter McGavin. So that's interesting. Aaron Taylor Johnson has been cast as Kraven the Hunter in the upcoming Sony film set to release January 13th, 2023. You might remember Aaron Taylor Johnson from Avengers Age of Ultron as Wanda's brother. Original brother, I guess I should say. Guardians of the Galaxy games is reportedly in development at Square Enix. That would be cool. Okoye from Black Panther is getting her own spin-off series on Disney+. John Wick Chapter 4 recruits pop star Rina Sawayama to star alongside Keanu Reeves. It will be her feature film acting debut. So that's kind of cool. Peaky Blinders has wrapped filming on Season 6. Thor Love and Thunder has wrapped filming. Indiana Jones starts filming next week. Harrison Ford will be 80 when the film is released. That's crazy. Wedding Crashers 2 begins filming in August with full cast returning. Stranger Things 4 will wrap filming in August. And Netflix's Jupiter's Legacy, which was canceled after just one season, reportedly had a $200 million production budget. Now, they canceled that show so they could start a different one that is set in the same universe. Interesting. So I wonder what didn't work with that show that'll work with another one. I have to watch Jupiter's Legacy, so I'll be interested to find out what happens there. So that's all the news I had today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Because obviously it was a short stream. But I wanted to do it on stream. I haven't streamed in a while. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea to stream it and then record it and then post it. That kind of thing. I might be doing that from now on. I don't know. I'll do as much as I can. But yeah, we got almost an hour knocked away right there. So yeah, that'll do it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned on Twitter for when and if I go live again. And for updated YouTube videos, I post pretty much every day during the week. Unless I forget a day or am busy a certain day and can't get to it. But yeah, usually one video a day, Monday through Friday. Take the weekend off. I might be streaming next week for the podcast. Because currently I still have a broken Elgato. Tried fixing it many times, done all the stuff that they said, and it still doesn't work. So I may have to buy another one. So I have to wait till I get money for that, until I can start actually streaming video games again. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to stay tuned on Twitter, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.